Welcome to the Howell Business Beat, where we delve deep into the dynamic world of entrepreneurship, innovation, workforce talent, economic development, and so much more, bringing you the latest insights and strategies to thrive in today's competitive business landscape. I am Janelle Smith, president of the Howell Area Chamber of Commerce, and I'm also joined today by my co-host, Dianne Samples. Welcome, Dianne.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. This is going to be fun.
This is fun. And so typically we host our show, but we're doing a little bit of a reversal today. And Rob Johnson here at Wayne Media Group is going to be interviewing us to share a little bit about the Chamber story. I don't know what's in store.
It could go down many different paths.
I didn't share my questions ahead of time, so strap in. No, I think for me, it's kind of going back to the very basics of what a Chamber of Commerce is, how it functions inside of a community, and largely how both of your roles operate inside of that ecosystem. So I think from just a basic perspective, what is a Chamber of Commerce and how should it function inside of a community?
Absolutely. That's a great question. I think hands down, the Chamber is a connector and a convener. We're here to support business and community. And if you really want to get into the nuts and bolts of it, a chamber is a 501c6 nonprofit organization. So that means that we are membership based. We're not your traditional foundation. So your dues are not considered a charitable donation, right? But they are considered a tax deductible business expense because we are here to support business in many, many different ways, to here support community. And we do that through a variety of ways with a focus on business development, economic development, and community development.
What are some of the things that people have misclassified the chamber as?
Oh man, there are so many. Yes, a place to go for maps, which we do have maps.
Well, don't tell them that. Now they're just going to go there for maps.
But a lot of people seem to think that we are, the city or funded or government funded. Really what funds us are membership dues and then the programming that we have. So there's typically a very big gap between overhead expenses and what's brought in membership dues. So how we support that gap is through events and programming, and those events and program then in turn support the chamber mission.
How does a chamber start? Can anyone just start a Chamber of Commerce and file a 501c6? And so it can be the Howell 2 Chamber of Commerce. And
well, Rob, that's a great question. I've never started a Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, I was just curious.
But I would imagine that you do have to file, and you do have to have your nonprofit designation to some degree. But you have to. I mean, we are governed by bylaws. We have our bylaws. We have policies in place. So our chamber is run and governed by a board of directors. We have a 15-member board of directors that's outlined in our governing bylaws and policies. And of that, we have a smaller subcommittee, our executive board, and that's comprised of 5 of our 15 directors. And then those directors, based within our bylaws, have the opportunity to appoint committees. We run the nominating process. So if anybody is looking to join the board, there's a process for that that's outlined in the bylaws. But the board really acts as the group that shares and sets that mission and the vision of the chamber. So they're really a representation, or a very wide representation of our chamber membership. So what we do every year as an organization is we're looking at our strategic plan. We're making sure that's in alignment with membership. How are we getting that feedback? We're getting that feedback from our board members. We're getting that feedback from outreach to members through surveys. And then about every 3 years, we go into a strategic planning process. To realign.
Okay. So Dianne, how long have you been with the chamber?
I'm working in my 5th year with the chamber.
In the 5th year. So
I've been involved with chambers on the other side, on the business side, for probably almost 30 years.
Okay. So let's just take the last 5 years. Obviously, a lot has changed, not only from our economy, but also from the needs of business owners. So 2020 to 2021 saw a large spike in virtual needs. How has the chamber largely addressed all of those major shifts in the marketplace? And what do you guys do to prepare to make sure that you can serve business owners and people that are part of the chamber in the best way possible?
Well, we have to remain fluid. So that was one thing that we recognized during COVID, is that you have to be able to adjust. You have to be able to work in a fluid motion because things are constantly changing. And obviously, like you said, COVID brought forth just a whole nother avenue of changes that people, I think, were in the back of people's minds, but it forced it to the front and it made it very, very relevant. So we had to do a really deep dive, and we had to do a lot of reflection on the chamber, how we ran our business and how we were going to be able to serve to remain relevant. So it was a huge learning curve for us, and we had to be able to pass that on to our members. And it's still, even in today, with the economy the way it is, there's so many unknowns out there. You do just have to be very fluid, and you have to be able to adjust very quickly to new needs, and be that resource and be open to making those changes as well within your own organization.
And I think to add to that, I would say that, yes, absolutely fluid, but nimble. And in addition to, your remark as we were talking about COVID is, what our board did is we held focus group sessions. So we took an opportunity to engage 60 stakeholders, whether they be chamber members, community members, and non-members alike. And we divided them up into industry-specific focus groups. And I think we had roughly 9 focus group sessions that we held virtually to talk about, like, what does the future of business look like to you? What are the challenges that you're facing right now, and what are the challenges you foresee facing in the future? And to really discuss and dive into what they're facing, so we could then in turn better serve them. And so through that, we were able to identify some of our strategic initiatives that we've been working towards for the last 3 years. And we've seen a lot of that come to fruition. As we go into 2024, we're headed into a strategic planning year. So some exciting times.
Yeah, I like that. So whenever I start consulting a client, I go through 2 different processes. One is, what does the perfect client look like? Or perfect customer. And then what is the perfect process that you're going to serve them with? So for the chamber, what does the ideal business owner look like, and how does their engagement look to you from an ideal perspective as well? So how does someone work through the chamber, and what would you like to see that relationship look like?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our ideal business that we like to work with is kind of that small to mid-sized business. So anybody that's got, maybe 3 to 10 people working within their business. Somebody who's community minded, somebody who's a decision maker, somebody who understands the value of civic engagement. I think when you're looking at a chamber, it is holistic. It is all inclusive of really, like I was saying earlier, business development, economic development, and community development. And if a business is investing in a chamber membership, they're investing in the future of their business, because the chamber is focusing in all of those areas to make the place that they're doing business a better place to live, work, play, raise a family. That in then turn is going to drive people here to want to live here, to raise their kids here, to shop in their stores, to dine in their restaurants, to go out and celebrate in their downtown, to invite their families here to join in some of the celebrations. One of the things that I found that I love is a Gail that we brought on to support some of our events and our administration this year. She's very seasonal, very part-time with us, and she's retired. But she shared with me, she goes, I was invited to Howell roughly 30 years ago to come to the Fantasy of Lights parade. And she goes, I just loved it. It was just the most amazing thing. I looked at them and I said, I want to live here. And they've lived here for decades, and she's worked in several different community roles within Howell. And I just think that's a huge testimonial for what a chamber does and the impact that it has. And I think from a business standpoint, it's challenging to see that direct return on investment because it's not super tangible, but and the results take time because really, really good things don't happen overnight.
Right. Well, I also think too from, I'm obviously a member in the Howell Chamber and some other neighboring chambers as well. And I would say that business owners are only going to get out of the chamber as much as they put into it, as much as they're going to be involved and engaged. Like if you're just going to be inactive, not do anything, not show up to anything, it's difficult to have any reciprocity there from my perspective. I don't know how you both feel about it, but
so I would play devil's advocate on that a little
Sure.
bit, and I'm going to.
Just stole my thoughts.
yeah, let's do it.
Sorry, I knew exactly where you were going.
Because so I look at this too, because this is a conversation that I've had with our board, is that, are we looking at kind of what we call those at-risk members, those members that maybe just belong to the chamber but don't necessarily get involved or engage, but they want to belong. They want to be a part of it. And I look at those members of like, yes, we are doing something right, because they belong to the chamber because they believe in the mission of the chamber. They
Right.
believe in what the work that is being done, and them showing up is being a member. Them showing up is paying their dues. Now, yes, absolutely. You can take that wherever, how far, or go as much as you want into it. And I would absolutely encourage that too. But I look at those members and it's like, yes, all right, we're doing something right there.
Yeah.
I mean, engagement is wonderful, and that's part of what that's a huge
Diane's
part.
job.
That's a huge part of what we are there for, is to bring you in so that you do feel like you are part of a larger community. But the flip side of that I look at is, as especially a small business owner, if you're maybe only have one, or you're your main employee, maybe it's just you and another employee. If your main reason for joining the chamber is just to attend the networking events and to become engaged, like in a in-person type basis, chances are life is going to happen, business is going to happen, and that's not always going to be possible.
Right.
So you have to see that bigger mission of what the chamber does, and the fact that you are showing up by belonging to the chamber and you're supporting your community, because you're only as strong as the community that you serve. And if we're not attracting people into our downtowns, if we're not bringing them into our schools, if families aren't moving here to live, dine, and play, then our businesses are going to suffer.
Right.
So it's really building that quality of life, which, like Janelle said, it's just being a part of the chamber and supporting that mission, that larger mission, which is for the greater good of the entire business community.
No, I completely agree. And you've seen, at least I've seen, how Howell has developed over the last 5 years that I've been in business in Livingston County, and it's been tremendous to see how much movement there is in that district. What has it been like for both of you to see the development of Howell, let's say, over the last 5 to 10 years? And what do you attribute to that growth?
So I'll say a little bit, but I know that Diane's going to have a great perspective on this. I think it's fantastic. It's been amazing to see what's going on in Howell. When I first came to Howell, it was like roughly 6 years ago. I'm going on 6 years. So, but I came to this community, and I came here before my interview because I wanted to see what this community felt like. I wanted to feel it. I wanted to understand it. I wanted to really I was leaving a really great community too. So I wanted to make sure that was all a fit. And the energy here was palpable in Howell. And it's something that I think is still carried through and only grown and continued to really just vibe on, right? Like, so I think that's been really exciting. And then to attribute it to, I think, great community partners. I think that Howell has some amazing relationships, some amazing. And this is one of the things that drew me here, that I really enjoyed seeing when I came here and throughout my interview process, that I still see today, is that there are so many people that are willing to play in the sandbox together to make things happen for the greater good. And that is what is important, because at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. I mean, we're all here for that. We all want our communities to be the best places that they can be. And yeah, I think I won't go on anymore. And I said, Diane's probably got a great perspective, because she's grew up here. So she's seen the evolution for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, I've lived here all of my life, and I know I am very partial to Howell, but I've also seen, like any community, you have your ups and downs, but to speak to Janelle's point, is that there's so much passion. There really is. We used to always joke, I graduated, and we never really had a high school reunion, because you don't need to have a high school reunion. You can go up to Cleary's on Saturday night and you're pretty much going to see everybody that, you're wanting to see. And I think that speaks volumes to the community, is people have grown up here, they've left, but they come back because it is a very passionate community, and businesses take care of each other. I think they do realize that, again, you're only as strong as that weakest business. So, we don't want to see empty storefronts. We don't want to see empty strip malls. We want to have that vibrancy. We want to have, we want people to drive through our city, our townships, and see that business is booming and that we have that traffic and we have that support. And businesses work hard to make sure that they're supporting each other, that if one is struggling, they're going to jump in and figure out, okay, how can we make this better? What can we do as a community to support you? How can we build up this quality of life within our community to attract more people here? And our partners are fabulous. I mean, our schools, our municipalities, our city, our county. I mean, we're very, very fortunate to have partners that work together and want to work together. And I think that's key to the evolution and the growth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to transition to something that I thought might be good for the listeners to get to know both of you a little bit better. And this is looking at both of you as what's a day in the life look like for the chamber president and engagement manager? Is that right?
Engagement director. Yes.
Engagement director. Apologies.
No. Development engagement.
So what is a typical day in the life look like? And I'm sure not every day is equal. I'm sure there's always going to be some curveballs thrown in there, but just generally, what does that look like? We'll start with you, Janelle.
Okay. That's hilarious because I was going to be like, all right, go Dianne. No, it's all good. Every day is different. And I don't think any day is mundane. I will just start with that. Really, when anybody starts with the chamber, I always tell them that it's a year learning curve. Because what you really get used to is you're just working on those constant deadlines, and they're seasonal. But then every day, it's it's extreme. It's an extreme day. Every day is extreme. I don't like to say busy because so I'm going with different adjectives, right?
Sure, yeah.
But it's all good. It's one of the parts that I love about my job is meeting people and understanding what it is that they do, what brought them there, what their passion is, where it lies, and then how we can support them in that. So that's a lot of kind of what my days look like, quite honestly. And that's great because that's the part of my job that I like to do. So a lot of meeting, a lot of going places, a lot of seeing different things. It's a really unique career in the fact that you get to see so many different industries. We get to go tour manufacturing. You're involved, we hold committee meetings and there's police and fire there. And, you see just so many different perspectives and careers and learn and meet so many different and unique people. Kevin Sabaski, he's been doing some programming with us. I just find his career pathway fascinating, and the fact that he lives in his RV and and he's just created this lifestyle, right? And then so it's really unique in that way, and truly no day is the same. And there are the downsides of things. There's the administrative part of it, and there's the HR part of it. We wear many hats. As a small organization, we have a very small but mighty team, and so many of us are jumping in where and when we need to, and that's just the way it goes. And it's okay. It's good.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dianne.
And I think for me, it's a lot of it mimics what Janelle said. I mean, it is very energetic and very robust and very. You have to be able to. I don't want to use the word multitask because I know it's a very broad, but you have to be able to have a lot of irons in the fire and be able to manage. I mean, we do work on deadlines. It feels like everything is on a deadline, but that's the same in any industry. I mean,
Sure.
We all have deadlines that we have to meet. I think what I love most about my job is just being able to support this community and be able to connect people to the resources that they need so that they can develop the growth that they're looking to achieve. Meeting new people. I mean, the amount of people that we meet, the different businesses that we get to go into and just talk to people and really find out. I mean, I'm always amazed, regardless of how many times I meet with someone at the same business, I always learn something new because business is evolving in every industry. So it's never the same. So there's always new things to learn. Again, on my side, a lot of it is just developing the programming and, what different programs are we going to introduce? How can we meet the needs of our members? What's going to best serve them? And then, like Janelle said too, there's always the administrative side of it. I work a lot with the operations. So there's a lot of that day-to-day that has to be done on top of that. But I always tell people that we're most known for our events. That's about 10% of what we do, but it takes up 90% of our time. So, but it's truly is very unique, but it's just no day is the same, and every day you're learning. So there's not really a boring day. There's never a day when I'm like looking for something to do, like looking at the clock going, oh my gosh, when's it going to be 5 o'clock? Yeah. And that makes it, to me, that's the plus side of it. Cause I've been in those positions before where it's kind of like you reach a point where you've hit that ceiling and it's like, okay. Whereas here, there's always something more you can do.
Absolutely. So looking ahead, we're sitting here at the beginning of January. This is 2024. So what's on the roadmap for this year? What are you both looking forward to?
We have a lot on the horizon. I, for one, am really looking forward to strategic planning this year and seeing what our next 5-year goals are going to look like. And also at the end of 2024, we announced that we opened up our Livingston Business Hub, which was huge. And we also received a grant in partnership with Ann Arbor Spark and some other organizations through the MEDC for the Innovation Hub grant. So we have some funding that's coming in this year that will allow us to provide business support programs, services in a much more comprehensive way. And there will also be some other grants available directly for businesses through that program. And then it will also help us outfit our hub space. So really looking at upgrading our technology, our furnishings, and really making that space all that it can be to support business and membership in Livingston County. Beyond that, we have a lot of events coming up too. So it'll be a very extreme 2024.
I like that. We don't say busy, it's extreme.
Right.
Yes,
I like that.
It is. It's exciting. We do have a lot of events. We have a lot of new programming. We're introducing new programs to our membership, to the community, which I think is really where I think the chamber shines, is that we're able to, again, remain relevant and really continue to provide those resources. And with the Livingston Business Hub, I'm really excited about connecting with the schools. I think that we have a tremendous relationship with our schools, and there's so much opportunity for growth, and that employee retention, that workforce development, where we have all of these families here, these kids that are going through our schools. We want them to stay here and start introducing them to business and bringing them into the hub so that they're able to really witness that entrepreneurship in action and how that synergy works, and even just kind of overhearing different conversations and just how they organically grow and how that creates that spark. Yeah. So I'm really excited to kind of bridge that gap between the education and business, and hopefully, really give these kids, let them know that there's other opportunities and there's other paths to go, maybe outside of the traditional path, which isn't for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm certainly looking forward to 2024. You guys have a ton of events. I liked what you said. It is absolutely 10% of what you do. There's a lot of different things, wide variety that you guys do on a day-to-day basis, but the events are certainly what is drawing people into downtown Brighton. And I like the story that you told a little bit ago about how that one event, Fantasy of Lights, it just kind of goes to show you like how important that is to attaching people to the identity of a community. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's, we all became CTAs last year and certified tourism ambassadors for Livingston County. And one of the things that they focused on was really understanding that it's your experience. Like when you are visiting a place, it's the experience that you have that draws you back there, that is going to make you invite other people back there. So really focusing on creating those great experiences for people.
And it is a very emotional, creating that emotional energy around it too. I mean, obviously all of the events we do are economic drivers. They're bringing people into our community, but again, we want them to have that emotional connection and really create those memories that make them want to continue that. And, like she said, hey, maybe move here, open your business here. So it's really kind of creating those emotional experiences that people really resonates with people.
I love that. Well, thank you both for letting me turn the tables and host, this month's episode of the podcast. I certainly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's been fun.
It has been fun.
I'm so glad that you were very kind to us and all your questioning.
Nothing too crazy.
We're not done. We're getting into politics next.
All right. Well, on that note, I'm going to
We might go
later.
off record on that one.
All right. How do you typically end the show, Janelle?
Oh, just, thanks for joining us, Rob. And we'll catch you next time on the Howell Business Beat.